This just in. We have brand new information about affixes in 10.1. The Mythic Plus season will be spicy, I tell ya. We have to get into all of them and analyze and rant and be happy or not.
That's what I'm here for. The rants, man, because we've just had talks about affixes just a couple of weeks ago about them not putting away the seasonal affix and all of that stuff, and we know that this week we have explosive and the healers are not happy.
Well, let's talk about the future. First of all, welcome Sunshade once again.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, Sunshade is a prominent Mythic Plus player. She loves Mythic Plus. We love Mythic Plus, and it's only appropriate to talk about this stuff and actually get some range DPS insight, healer insight, because she plays a lot of range DPS, only range DPS, I believe, right?
She passed her Hearthstone.
No, I play melees and tanks less.
Yeah, but that's like one of the things. You're playing tanks and you're saying you're playing melee. That doesn't match. It doesn't count.
All right. Well, we'll have Sunshade here, and we're gonna speak our mind about what happened here. It's pretty exciting, regardless if it's shit or not. It's exciting to see that new things are coming. So let's start it off. Afflicted. Now, Afflicted is the brand new thing they're gonna introduce, a brand new affix. So the reading is like this: while in combat, afflicted souls appear that seek the aid of players. Afflicted souls spawn with poison, curse, and disease afflictions. Removing any of these afflictions or restoring the spirit to full health causes it to despawn. Fail to remove their afflictions in time will inflict players. This is not written correctly. So it will get, you basically get a negative effect. Now, I think, okay, so before we read the specifics.
It just needs a comma. Fail to remove, failing, I guess, to remove their afflictions in time.
That's what I'm saying.
Will inflict players with a negative state.
Oh my god.
So this is, can we agree this is a healer mechanic? Because
no, it is not.
Come on, how can you heal?
It is not. You have shamans, you have druids, you have paladins, you have shadow priests. They can dispel.
She's ranting already.
It is not a healer affix. However, the way Pug World works in World of Warcraft, no DPS is gonna look at that.
Nobody's gonna.
Okay, but you do have specs like rogues, demon hunters, warlocks who cannot heal. How can they heal this? This is what I'm saying.
You don't have to. You can do either. You can either heal it to full health. You can do, I don't know, shamans and stuff. You can dispel it.
Yeah, that's
warlocks can dispel with imp.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, warlocks, yes, but you still have rogues who can not do anything about it. Like, I don't know, hunters. There's like generally the pure DPS classes. Okay, hybrids, sure, they can do this. But how much would you want a hybrid to start off either healing or using cleanse or whatever they have on these, as opposed to like the healer? Wouldn't the healer be the most appropriate person to handle this?
Appropriate, yes, I agree. But mage is a pure DPS class. They have a curse spell.
Right. Well, this is the thing, right? Because this is the curse, but we're gonna go into the details. So here we have the 4 elements, so to speak. Okay, so we have the curse spirit. Restoring the afflicted soul's health to full or dispelling an alignment from it causes it to fade away. Okay, so this is the curse. Then we have poison spirit. So this obviously affects poison. Restoring the afflicted soul health full or dispelling. Okay, this is the same text. And this is, disease as well. So it's basically, I think all hybrids can handle this and a couple of pure DPS specs as well. But what is the afflicted cry? The afflicted spirit lets out a cry of agony, reducing the haste of all players by 100% for 10 seconds. What?
I think that's what happens if you don't deal with the with the soul.
Okay, so this is the one that would basically have you heal it to full. If you don't heal it to full and have it go away, this is what happens.
Yeah. So most likely what will happen is the soul spawns. Either it's there or it spawns, but I guess it's because it happens in combat. Once it gets into combat, it starts casting the 10-second stuff, and you have 10 seconds to resolve it. And this is shit. It's yet one more time, one of these affixes that just stop you from actually engaging with the content. It's not an explosive that you have 10 seconds to kill 10 explosive. It's like one spirit that you have 10 seconds to resolve it. And it has no benefit, just the massive downside and potentially issues like we talked about, you know, having to get dispels for it if you cannot heal it. We don't know exactly how it will function in high keys or with big pools. However, can we take a moment to think about this season's Algathar Academy and Temple of the Jade Serpent, two of the dungeons that have specific dispels that a lot of people don't have it. I've done Algathar Academies with both tanks and healers who couldn't dispel the poison on the first boss. Now we have an entire affix for all of the dungeons that does that. I'm guessing to kind of offset the fact that some people might not be spec'd into it, we have curse, poison, and disease, so you can probably choose which one you get based on your comp, based on what your healer can dispel. But at the same time, playing an evoker is maybe a privileged position because my dispels are actually not a DPS loss. However, on my druid, the dispel is a DPS loss, and on priest, the dispel, the enhanced dispel also is a DPS loss. Shadow priest is also a DPS loss, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other specs might have to sack DPS or sack tank, I don't know how Repelden is, to get the extra dispel to handle with this affix. And I don't know, maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing, but once again, we're just doing the same thing all over again. We've had talks, a lot of content creators had talks about affixes that are just not fun. This doesn't sound like a fun affix. This is just, oh, I have this spell that sometimes I use, sometimes I never have it on my bars, now I have to use it. That's not fun gameplay.
Yeah. What do you think, son?
First of all, I want to correct myself because I said warlocks can dispel it, but it's not a magic spell, so I take that back.
Okay. Fair.
Secondly, if this shows up on players' bars, like in your party frames or something, it will be much easier. Okay, the healers will be able to heal it because a lot of people heal their party frames, right? If you have to use mouse over macros, which not everyone uses, it basically forces you into that in order to heal it. And also, it's much easier to dispel and all that. Like, what DPS is gonna take the target off to click this than to click their button and all of that. So if they could integrate it into showing up on screen easier, even with mouse over macros, if you have a melee in front of it, you're just gonna dispel that melee or heal that melee instead of the soul. So I think it could work out okay if they make it easier to deal with this.
Yeah, it also depends on what type of numbers we're looking at here, because if they tune it to be neglectable or neglectable for the first couple of seconds or whatever, maybe it's a little bit more manageable. However, I feel like the biggest thing here is that afflicted cry thing, like reducing. It just feels a big ass punishment if you like, because obviously we're talking about pug worlds. If you're gonna have like a coordinated group, this will never gonna happen. But when you go into pugs and they don't really care, a lot of people just don't really care. When you get to 100%, you basically have no more haste. It's like that.
Yeah,
so
no, 100 haste is.
It feels huge.
It takes away your attack speed, cooldown reduction,
Everything.
whatever, down by half, which is crazy. And not to mention, there is no like upside, because I'm really seeing this. Okay, maybe it is a healer or not, but I'm seeing this as an explosive, right? The higher in key you go, or the more content you want to do, the more this takes you away from the actual content, disengages you with the actual combat to have to deal with this. Now, obviously, it depends so much on how it's implemented. If it's just like one curse every minute or so, maybe it doesn't matter that much. But to deal with this, there's no upside. It stops you from continuing to DPS if you're a DPS. It stops you from healing your party if you're a healer, not to mention dispels cost a lot of mana.
I think the design is intended that way, to just spice up your life. Maybe not the most inspired thing, but hey, I'm gonna leave it to the healers. That's fine. Let's talk about the next. Oh, sorry, son. Go ahead.
Wait. Do you remember the fated affix from the last season of Shadowlands in Raid, where we had a ball that DPS had to DPS in order to get a buff? Well, many people don't know there was also a healing ball, which everybody was ignoring.
Yeah. Well,
This is basically the same thing.
but was it that punishable though?
It wasn't punishable because the DPS would deal with the DPS ball, but the healers, it was working that way that when you were DPSing, the more you were attacking it, the more of a buff you would get.
Yeah.
It was the same for healers, but healers wouldn't heal it because they were busy healing the raid and all of that. And with the affixes for Mythic Plus, we've only had the seasonal affixes that would give us a good part of dealing with them. The normal affixes don't.
Yeah.
You just have to.
This is what I'm saying. All of these being like affixes, traditional affixes for Mythic Plus, apart from the Afflicted Cry, I feel they're gonna have like smallish impact, like the curse, the poison, the disease, or whatever. We'll just have to see. We don't have any, so we cannot test it now. We will be able to test it during the weekend. You can be sure we're gonna have some videos about that, and we'll see the actual numbers and see how it works. But let's move on to Entangling. So this is this is an interesting one. So first of all, Entangled, and Entangling Vine, snares players, reducing their movement speed by 50%. After 8 seconds, the vine entangles players, stunning them for 3 seconds. Players can snap the vine by moving 10 yards away from the source. I am downright curious how well this...
Listen, think about this. Think about
mix this with some others.
You as a red paladin, you are on your target, right?
I have no more. Don't put red paladin because I have giga range. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. But you know, you're a melee, right? The rogue, whatever.
Yeah.
You're there. You get entangled. Supposedly, you don't have freedom, or you don't have disengage, you don't have any of that, and you have to not be there, move 10 yards away, or be stunned. So it's kind of like a pseudo thundering. It's the position that you are in is not good. You have to swap it to a different position while you're also slowed, and not do what you have to do in that dungeon for that amount of time. So
okay, but let me tell you something. This affix right here will raise up the value of red paladins specifically in dungeon groups because of the Hand of Freedom talent. Which, so I'm with you in the dungeon. We get the entangled. I freedom you. I also get a freedom. So basically, I can freedom 2 people really at the same time. You're gonna want a red paladin in your team, and you better pick me. Okay.
Next MDI, red paladins. Let's go,
red
baby.
Paladins.
Hey, yeah. What you think about this one, Sunshade?
Time to level your paladin.
No, like you have all the disengaged classes which should be able to deal with this. You have hunters, you have boomkins, whatever. You have shapeshifting classes. You have monks who have Tiger's Lust, which they can also put on other players. They can roll out and Tiger's Lust somebody else. I'm hoping this is also something dispellable, so a Shadow Priest could maybe mass dispel it. However, I think it's very shit. If you have to do mechanics at the exact time this hits, okay, you have orbs coming towards you, or I don't know, move out of something. Let's just think Freehold and Underrot. They both have mechanics where you get focused, right? Yeah. And you need to run away. You are slowed, you are focused, some thing is coming after you with like 5 swords, and you're like, I'm just gonna slowly move away.
Skididdle. That's the thing, because both of what you say is very, very valid, and I tend to rant a little bit because I kind of think the worst of these affix, because what it matters is a lot the implementation. The implementation actually changes pretty much everything if the affix is okay. Because, okay, I see the design behind these, at least these first 2 affixes, Afflicted and Entangling, is that they want players to engage with their class more, right? You have root breaks, you have snare breaks, you have dispels. Fine, that's all fine and dandy, but how much time does that take? Because do we have 3 players getting entangled at the same time, or is it only like 1 player? Does it happen every 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or every 2 minutes, or every 5 seconds? Like these kinds of implementations kind of matter a lot, because I'm fine with, oh, right, I'm a druid, I can shapeshift out. Oh, I'm a hunter, I can disengage. I can use these utility tools, or maybe, like you said, oh, new red paladins never played red before, they don't know they have freedom. They can use their freedom, they can learn the class.
The trick is to use the freedom on somebody else so you can get as well, but the thing is, it's not mentioned if the whole party gets it, right? So
I think it's the whole party.
It mentions players, so
yeah, that's the thing, because that's what I mean. Depending on how they implement this and how it overlaps with mechanics, like Sunshade said, that matters a lot. Because we can probably give an example with explosive. If explosives can only pop like 1 at a time or only 2 at a time and then stop for a minute, they have like internal cooldown. They wouldn't be as big of an issue as they are now when you have like 5 at once that pop.
Very, very true. Again, we cannot wait to test this out during the weekend to see exactly. I mean, it's gonna be very interesting, and sure, it's still like PTR. This is like the first time we get to read this, so it's probably due to change in some capacity. But it's interesting to see where their philosophy is going with affixes and Mythic Plus. Now, last but not least, the new addition here is Incorporeal. Okay, so Incorporeal. While in combat, Incorporeal
Perfect, never change, man.
Beings appear and attempt to destabilize players with spells that reduce their damage and healing done. Incorporeal beings are susceptible to all forms of crowd control. So here's like the details. Damage taken reduced by this is so you cannot damage them. This is not they're not damageable. Well, they're like those ethereals, right? They're immune to area of effect attacks, fade away upon expiration. So yeah, they last 20 seconds. Damage and healing done reduced by 50%. So they reduce that shit by 50%. Now the question here is, because it doesn't like mention anywhere, if you CC them, do they spawn after the CC or because of the CC, or do you have to keep on CCing them forever until they're gone?
I'm assuming it's similar to Razageth's ads that spawn, that you just CC them and they instantly disappear. It seems like these are gonna be from the design of it, since this is just still data mined apparently. They're probably gonna be like shades that cast Incorporeal or Destabilize. One of the two. Apparently these two are data mined to be as spells, an 8-second cast spell and 20-second buff duration. Or maybe that's, it instantly debuffs and then it casts that spell and you have to interact them, because it really matches with the other two affix where you just have to use a utility tool from your kit to deal with this. And if you really want to think about it, if you want to go really meta on it, it definitely matches the new talent design and class design of Shadowlands, where pretty much every spec has access to the full utility kit of your class through the general talent tree, that being stuns, that being root dispels, that being dispels normally and stuff like that. So they're definitely coming from that point where they're wanting you to engage with your class utility kit instead of just mindlessly DPSing or healing.
Yeah, I think the philosophy there generally is great. It just depends on how it works.
Yeah.
Son, what do you think?
I don't think it's too bad. I mean, if you look at it, destabilizing is an 8-second cast, so you have all the time in the world to interrupt it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Do you have like 3 of them pop at the same time just after you rotate it through a kick sequence? Because you have mobs that you have to kick on rotation. One of the casts.
I think it's just one. It says here, it's like an extra ad that needs to be controlled when it pops up.
Yeah, it's one.
Okay.
20-second buff duration.
Yeah.
Cannot be killed, so it probably has loads of health, and damage taken reduced.
No, it has the 99% damage taken reduced. So it's like an ethereal thing. You cannot kill it.
Yeah.
I'm actually liking this a lot more than Entangling, because it doesn't affect your control over your character the way Entangling does. So you have more freedom to
be so red paladins can shine. Shut up. Shut up.
You'll at least have the full freedom to deal with this if your class has tools to deal with this. But I think, I don't know, is there a class that doesn't have a stun nowadays? I don't think so.
We have a plethora of AoE CC as well, so this is also gonna play a huge part. So yeah, a good example is like when you do have a dungeon which will be heavy on kicks, and you're probably gonna prioritize maybe kicking some abilities, people will fail their kicks, whatever, things like these happen, you still have like a plethora of AoE CC as well, on top of like direct crowd control.
Oh, wait a minute. This
Like pushbacks as well.
Yeah.
If you read the data, this doesn't despawn. It's just there for 20 seconds. And
Yeah.
during those 20 seconds, it's an extra ad that you have to like CC or kick.
Yeah. It's adding to the spiciness of it. I don't mind it that much.
Okay.
But I do want to like parallel this with the fact that quaking, grievous, and volcanic will be gone. We already knew this. The only concern I was getting back to the entangling stuff is with the sanguine. So this is a different article. Relax. I'm just gonna tell you. So we're gonna still have like spiteful, sanguine, bursting, bolstering, raging. So sanguine will still be the only affix that will also place shit on the ground and will be batty for you if you step in it. Now, if you're gonna be in a week with sanguine and entangling, and you're gonna be in a pack of mobs and you get entangling, that could be a problem at some point if you don't have a paladin in your group. That is.
Just blink ball.
Yeah, not everybody has blink stun.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm looking at it as well. So now the Keystone level 4 affix are Spiteful among others, and the level 7 is Entangling. Because I did things like, what if you have Entangling and Spiteful at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be weird. It's still a matter of testing and iterating on it for sure. But I think it's like, they listen to feedback. So we can give them the props to like, okay, they listen to feedback. They remove that horrendous, the grievous stuff and all of that. That's super cool. I think the only time they try to do something new, because this is new, it always feels like they're missing the mark somehow. So they listen to feedback. Okay, guys, we listen to you. We're gonna remove shit. Basically the healer affixes are gone. But hey, let me place this instead, which feels for some reason worse because the punishment is really bad. I'm talking about the first one where you get the afflicted
Okay,
war cry.
so here's I've trashed and rant about these affixes for too long. Here's something good that I can say about the new affixes. Compared to the old affixes, the new affixes are instantly resolvable. The afflicted stuff, you dispel it, it's gone. The entangling, you disengage, you remove roots, it's gone. The, what was the last one? Incorporeal, you stun it, it's gone. Well, you have to kick it, right? As opposed to spiteful, where you have to deal with it for an extended period of time. As opposed to explosive, where you have to deal with it. As opposed to sanguine, that just stays there. Bolstering, stays there. Bursting, stays there. Although bursting is kind of like a little bit between the two. At least these new ones can be like, okay, I do what this affix needs me to do, it's gone, I don't have to worry about it, as opposed to the old affix. So maybe the design is slightly better in the sense that, because we're talking from different style of perspectives. When it comes to healers, it's very difficult to deal with mechanics, people getting, standing in the fire and stuff, and also on top of all of it, dealing with stuff like affixes. That's why we're probably seeing grievous going away. And it feels like these new ones are a little bit less invasive in terms of your playstyle.
Yeah, true.
I may be wrong, but are they not changing explosive?
I've read that somewhere. I couldn't find the article. From what I understand, the explosive, was it?
Look here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's explosive. They're making them.
Yeah, they're fewer explosive, but they're not gonna be one shot.
Yeah, exactly. They're basically bringing it to what it was. It's worse, in my opinion. Because now at least you have people, okay, I'll hit it once and I'm done with it. But now you have people actually having to swap to them and do DPS to them or from them. It's no longer something that can be dealt with just by the healer.
Exactly. I would be totally okay with this if they make them susceptible to area of attack, cleave, because on an outlaw rogue you can deal with that stuff like no problem if you pop Blade Fury, right? So it would be easy, like you have like 2 or 3 of them explode, we just send the rogue have
there,
more health, maybe even have more health than normal, but let you be able to actually cleave. Maybe you have to focus them down, maybe have them take, I don't know, 20% less AoE so that you can actually focus them. But if you do focus them, the AoE from them cleaves onto other targets. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't for different style mechanics. For instance, for Balanced Druid, if I Moonfire one, it also Moonfires a random add, but if I Moonfire an add that's close to it, it doesn't Moonfire it. So have maybe a little bit more consistency when it comes to targeting these. Otherwise, it just feels intentionally forced to work around the game systems just to annoy you, and that's just frustrating.
Yeah, it's a weird balance they have to walk on making interesting Mythic Plus seasons, while also not being annoying and intrusive, right? With this. I don't know, man. We're speculating because we actually don't know. They do mention that the explosive orbs are going to be substantially higher in health.
Yeah, that doesn't say anything. That is because now
substantially means a lot.
Well, think about this. Right now, orbs can be pretty much one shot by almost all things except a couple of things, except like Throglaive, or I don't know if Throglaive one shots, but Crackling Jade Lightning doesn't one shot. So there are still abilities that doesn't one shot, and when they didn't say higher, meaning that you can 3 or 4 shot. They say substantially. So I'm imagining they would have a set amount of HP that let me do a half of my rotation on them. But I guess we can test them out.
Yeah. Can I wait to do some Mythic Plus in the weekend on the PTR to see exactly how all of this works. Any closing thoughts on this, Sun, or shall we wrap it up?
Many thoughts, but perhaps for another time.
Okay. Well,
I ranted enough.
No, it's good, man. It's good. I mean, first impressions are always important, but we'll have a much more educated opinion on this after we test them out and see actual numbers. But that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let us know in the comments what you think about the new affixes, and what are you expecting. Are you gonna bring that red paladin to your group? Or
everybody respect to red.
Everybody's gonna need that red paladin. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're gonna need it. Thank you, everybody. Catch you very soon with another video. Bye.
Peace.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play